If you enjoy the Filmmakers podcast, please consider supporting us on Patreon.
The Podfix Network! Hello and welcome to episode 278 of the Filmmakers podcast. This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking, from indie film to studio films to TV and everything in between. How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to F it up, in our very, very humble opinion. I am Giles Alderson, and I, as you can probably tell from the noise behind me, am in Cannes. It is stunning. It has been one of the best festivals, certainly that I can remember, but from talking to other people, they say it as well. I am stood on the balcony of Entertainment Squad's offices. They very kindly let me not record in here because you can hear the noise around me, the hubbub, the buzz. I'm overlooking the Cinema de la Plage. It's the beach. There's deck chairs all laid out in front of me. There's a huge, I don't even know how big that screen is. 60-foot maybe screen on the beach. Beyond that is the sea. There's boats dotted around like stars in the night sky. Beyond that is a marina jetting out to a lighthouse, and beyond mountains with clouds overlooking. It is stunning where I am right now. Below me there is thousands of filmmakers and tourists, all hustling and bustling along the Croisette. So apologies for the noise behind me, but I had to record this intro somewhere because this week's episode is with Joss Agnew. He is a fantastic director. Josh has made so many films and TV shows, including The Irregulars, Poldark, and the amazing The Man Who Fell to Earth, which he's directed episodes 7 and 8 of the brand new series. Myself and Huw Siddle sat down with Joss. You don't know Huw Siddle yet. He's our marketing guru. He's been working tirelessly behind the scenes for you, especially on the Patreon page. And because he's been recording little mini episodes with short filmmakers and other crew as well, which will be on our Patreon page very soon, I thought I'd introduce him to you guys, to the main podcast, so you can get used to him and his voice. So this is his first time doing it, so be nice to him. I thought he'd done a brilliant job. I'll let you be the judge of that. But do at him, at Huw Siddle on Twitter, and let him know how brilliant he is. Myself and Huw sat down with Joss, and we chatted all about The Man Who Fell to Earth and his previous films and TV. We talked about what his process is when the pitch comes his way, what it's like to jump into an existing series, what's the difference between directing TV versus directing feature films. We also talk about his editing background, how he started out as a director, and he gives you some amazing tips on pitching and how he preps a scene. It is a joy. It is a joyous episode. I really loved chatting to Joss, and he had so many insights and tips for you as filmmakers, so I know you are going to love it. So I will give you a full rundown of my experience in Cannes once I am back and I'm on a decent microphone. But let me tell you this, it has been amazing. I met so many incredible people. I might have been wrong in the past. I think anyone should come here. You're a starting out filmmaker, if you're a very experienced professional, this is where it's happening. This is a perfect place to meet people. It's a perfect place to pitch projects. It's a brilliant networking opportunity. Everyone is so friendly. Business cards out first thing, what do you do? And it has been incredible for that. So I encourage you next year, if you haven't come this year, and I do apologise for talking about it, if you're fear of missing out, seeing all the images on Instagram at the moment of everyone here, don't worry. It's not your time. Next year's your time. You can make it happen then, but do save for it and do come out next year. Make things happen. Every festival is an opportunity for you. I've just eaten an ice cream on the way back. It was delicious. It was a vegan strawberry one, and it's my first ice cream in Cannes. I'm so tired, so my voice is probably absolutely knackered. We've been up at crazy hours for meetings, and then you'd stay up late in all the events. But it has been absolutely worth every second. Myself and Jack Spring, the director of 3 Day Millionaire, have been pitching it in meeting rooms. We have been showing our teaser trailer for 3 Day Millionaire to sales and distributors, and it has been going down incredibly well. I don't want to jinx anything, but we feel very positive about the meeting. I think everyone has here in Cannes this year. It's been a very positive Cannes, but we're very excited for 3 Day Millionaire and our future projects. So yes, Now, I'll fill you in more on that when I can, but for now, I'm going to tell you about some of the bonus clips that will be on our Patreon page from this episode with Joss. And on that will be where he talks about changing lines on set and making TV for kids versus making TV for adults and the huge distinction between the two. That will be on our Patreon page later this week, so do check that out. But for now, I'm going back out into the melee and the madness of this fantastic Cannes 2022 and the amazing market that it has been. Maybe I'll dance a little. Maybe. My feet are killing me though. You don't have to walk around here. Oh, and it's hot. Believe me, it's hot. Sun cream at the ready. Anyway, I will be back on my regular microphone very soon for you next week. So for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode with myself, Huw Siddle, and the rather brilliant Joss Agnew. Enjoy.
Very well. Nice to meet you, Giles.
It's nice to meet you. When projects like The Man Who Fell to Earth come to you, what goes through your mind? Because you must get offers, you must pitch for stuff all the time. How is it that process happens, and what do you think? What's the first thing you think about when a TV series like this comes your way?
I'm very much like an actor in the role that I inhabit at the moment. I'm an episodic director of TV series. So it is either through someone I've worked with in the past that's got a project that coming up and you're talking about, you're in conversation about, or in this case, Man Who Fell to Earth, it was through my agent. Yeah, so you get sent the scripts, or more specifically, get sent an NDA first, non-disclosure agreement. There's lots of those. Yeah, with no problem. And then, dive into the scripts, read them, and take it from there.
Amazing. I like that. Is there anything that because, like I say, you're very successful now in that world, not just in the action side, but also the drama side. You know, the split was incredible. But
well, it was great to work on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My friend Oliver Parker just edited the whole last season, and
it's just gone out, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, which is incredible. And he was talking about how amazing it was to work on that. And I think he worked on the season you worked on as well, but he was doing much more behind the scenes at the time. When you're getting those sort of projects come your way, does you have sometimes to think about the choice? Should I do this or should I do that? If I do this, it's going to take me out for 6 months. You know, if there's something you really wanted to do and you don't know if it's going to happen, is that a difficult choice sometimes, or is it you're happy with whatever work comes in? I don't know. It'd be really interesting to know.
I think, first of all, I've been really lucky, and I don't quite know how, but I just have been. Must have touched a lot of wood. I think that sounds completely filthy, but
why not? Please do. If Dom was here, it'd be full of puns right now, so it's all good. It's probably a good job he's not one of our fellow hosts. So
no. So I mean, it's really about read that story, meet those characters, and then, and just try and be honest with yourself about how it's coming over. How are you being affected? How do you respond to it? And in this case, when I was reading the scripts, my wife said, I haven't heard you laugh out loud that much for ages. And which when you think about it at first, you might not think that would be the case with The Man Who Fell to Earth, but there is a lot of humor in it. And but it's also about, I think maybe some of the humor there is because there's a lot of pressure, a lot of tension, and then when that goes, you've got the release. So that's where the comedic possibilities come out. Yeah, generally that's the first thing to look at is how are you responding to the script. So you are the audience. If it's something that tickles you, something that takes your fancy, if it's something that stimulates you and asks some really interesting questions, then that's what I respond to.
How did it feel really when you were sort of looking at going on to this with the fact that it's, I suppose, already an existing IP, really? Because The Man Who Fell to Earth, obviously, it's a cult classic sci-fi film. It's one of like the original strong sci-fi novels. Sort of, did you want to do it because you knew all of that, or was it? How do you approach kind of that existing IP angle?
That's a great question. It has lots of play. It has a lot to do with it. That existing movie. I remember seeing it when I was a kid. I stayed up too late watching TV. Didn't have so many channels, not so much access, and then there's this really strange film, and with a very terrifying sort of transformation in it. and some incredible ideas, and magnetic Bowie. So that really just has stayed with me ever since. And the novel, obviously I saw the film first and then read the novel later, so kind of understood what the film was about a bit more. That helped, reading, getting into his head a bit more. So it was exciting to see what Jenny Lumet and Alex Kurtzman had done 45 years later. Where do we go next? I mean, the book and the film also ends on such a strange, tragic and horrific ending. He's completely lost, Newton. So you're wondering, where's he been all this time? What's happened to him?
Totally. To those who don't know, the original film did star David Bowie. Did the book come first? I think that's right. The book came first, didn't it?
Yeah.
How is it jumping into a series? Because like I say, you did episode 7 and 8. So you're jumping into something that's kind of already fully formed. The cast has already been there, I imagine, unless you were involved in the early stages of it. Maybe when you're talking about it perhaps, but you might not be casting as such, maybe your episode, sure. How is it to jump into something that is already, on its legs and it's exciting and it's new?
Well, jump is a good way of putting it.
Sure.
Honestly, it depends. Sometimes you can be contacted months and months ahead and you can be involved early doors, or sometimes this was a lot later. So it was, I think the analogy I keep thinking about is this massive locomotive and it's going.
Yes.
And you're just running alongside it, and then you hop on and you've got to discover very quickly where everything is. And get into the vibe of where they've come from, where we're going to. Who's on board, who's driving this thing, who to pay attention to, all of the building blocks of filmmaking. You're playing a very quick game of catch up, and at the same time, you're then preparing for your turn to be driving, as it were. And so everything that goes, any casting that needs to be done for your segment, any location hunting, it's endless storyboarding, etc., etc.
How does that work then when you've got, I suppose, multiple episodes in the season that are done apart from each other? And specifically looking at, because obviously you were part of the TV sensation that is Poldark, Fedley, and shamelessly going through your IMDb.
A huge part.
I was going to say part of, yes.
Yes.
And so going through, obviously you served as director for plenty of episodes there, but not always all in a row.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of go about doing, okay, I've got these episodes, but then I have to hand it over to somebody for 3 or 4 episodes, then I come back and take this again. Such, how do you approach that?
Yeah, hopefully it's a collaboration and a positive one. And with that particular show, it was fantastic, amazing team of people. How do you prepare for it? It was quite interesting. Poldark specifically would shoot, I don't know if you knew this, but most of it shot in Bristol.
Right. Okay.
There's a bit of a spoiler. So what would happen first would be that we would shoot in Cornwall, and we'd shoot for 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks in Cornwall, because I worked on series 3 and 4, and I top and tailed those series. So I did some at the beginning and some at the end, and other director did the middle section. So with 3 blocks. And so we go to Cornwall, we shoot, because you're there for the coast. And I did love the way they, the emotional state of the characters was reflected on what's happening at the coast. It's a classic technique, but it was really, I think it was beautifully done there. So you shoot everything at the coast first, and then come back and shoot the rest of the series. With scheduling as it is, one series I was shooting, Demelza and Josh having their liaison in the dunes, and that was the first thing I shot with those actors.
Wow. And you just dive straight in? Is it kind of, okay, well, this is what we've got to do. You're used to this. You know what I mean? How did you rehearse?
Yeah.
You just block it through as you would do anything else.
That particular sequence was really sensitive, and we wanted to be at the coast. So there was the conundrum of how are we going to do this? And when we went down there, often we'd have quite a few fans around and security trying to block out certain things. And so it was quite a few recce's and intensive rehearsal on that. And then on the day, it just went like a dream. There were real pros. It's fantastic work. and we didn't get hundreds of paparazzi or thousands of people watching. I think we were too early in the day for that.
So you managed to avoid it. Well done. How do you mentally prepare to jump out? You're jumping in, you do your episodes around that, and obviously you're looking at locations and you're thinking about casting for the next episodes coming up. But how do you keep an eye on the character arcs a little bit, or where the actors has found something, and then you're coming back in like 3 episodes later? How does that work in your head mentally? How do you prepare for that?
Yes, such a good question. You've just got to know that story as backwards, and you've got to know where the characters have come from. Where they're going to is not necessarily as important because, well, none of us know that.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you sure need to know where they've come from, everything that's gone before, even back into previous series, if you want to reference any callbacks or something. How do you mentally prepare? You try not to be scared. Try not to let the fear overwhelm you, and rely on all the really good team that you've got around you. Script editors are really, fantastically important from that point of view. But also the most important thing is just trying to get time with the writer.
Right. Okay. Of course.
That, just try and learn as much of the context and why characters are doing what they're doing and why they're not. And then, I don't want to be too boring, but it all comes down to the scheduling. You've got to know the scenes and the story and how those fit into the story. But then once you start cutting that up and mixing it all around and throwing it up in the air and it all landing in different order, you got to know how much you can shoot, where you can. I can feel the fear rising in me as I'm telling all this now.
we brought back the memories.
We love it though, because this is the stuff that our listeners, want to know, and it's the stuff that sometimes can get overlooked. That fear, and thank you for being honest. That sort of like, oh my gosh, I've got to have all this in my head, and to keep it all running in your head. And again, like you say, have amazing people around you, and absolutely, and on the TV shows you've done, of course, you're going to have that. But again, it's that fear, isn't it? Of, oh God, is someone going to ask me a question about something and I don't know? And you've got to keep all that in your head. Do you write everything down? Do you have a notebook? Do you have full-on articles and spreadsheets and God knows what storyboards fully constantly around you?
Storyboards, yeah. I mean, obviously with big complicated sequences, action, especially, you're going to have storyboarded that or have some sort of previs in place. Generally, I just put as many notes in my script as possible. The triggers that the writers told, or the showrunner has been through with you. That is the main thing. It all comes back to the script. So any sort of tonal references or filmic references, just put it right next to that scene that you're working on that day. And any other thoughts. And then, as soon as that's done, you just move straight on to the next one. It's quite common. This sounds really nuts, but at the end of a day, if you've been really concentrating all day on a shoot to finish that call sheet, at the end of the day, you think, well, hey, what did I do first thing? What was that?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just gone because you're constantly just moving through the material, one scene at a time, and then one shot at a time, and so on.
And with that kind of constant moving, how do you ensure consistency, I suppose, across a series? Because obviously no two directors will direct the exact same way, but you don't want it to be kind of vastly different from one episode to the other. Like, how do you ensure that kind of consistent directing style and consistent characterization and such across what can be really quite a long series sometimes?
These are such hard questions.
we don't play softball on the Filmmakers Podcast.
For fun.
We'll bring it back to fun in a minute.
No, that's a great question. And to be absolutely honest, you are relying on that amazing cast. So they are the guardians of their character, and they've been working on that character for all of their scenes, not just the scenes I've been directing. So quite often, and it depends who it is. To be absolutely honest, some actors will prepare in a completely different way to others. Some want to just keep it fresh to possibilities on the day. Others have kind of got themselves made some choices earlier on, and pretty much they'll stick with that. And either one you can work with, and all you're doing is just trying to nudge the tiller to take us on, in particular directions for particular times.
Gosh, it's wonderfully amazing. I've done bits of telly, but it's mainly feature films I've done. And it's the same thing in a way. Is, you know, you can't really remember sometimes. Said, did you do that scene at the start of the day? You've got, I have no idea.
Do you wake up at night, that early morning, you suddenly wake up and think, oh shit, I didn't get that shot. I didn't get it.
Yes. Yeah.
You have that fear.
You have that fear. And then you have to check. You go, God, I wanted that beautiful shot.
No,
I wanted all this thing.
You didn't get it. But don't tell anyone. That's the thing.
Totally. Yeah, you can't. But that's why the shot listing is great and storyboarding is great. And obviously you can't storyboard everything. Certainly not in features when you haven't got the time, or you can't draw like me. But that shot listing is so important and vital to almost tick it off. Did I get the close? Did I get this? But then on the day you change it, you know, you can sit your shot list out perfectly. This is what I want. The storyboarding may be done. As soon as you get there, okay, well, the light's different now and the actor's doing something different. The cinematographer goes, I want to do something different. So your mindset goes, oh gosh, we're coming here, here and here. And for the only times when I might have dropped a close-up, might have dropped something, is because you've set up for it, and then someone will go, actually, let's do the other side first. So because you've set up for it and maybe you rehearsed it, you think you've shot it. And that's the only time you might miss something. But TV-wise, I suppose you're doing it over a much longer period than, you know, a 90-minute movie where you can sort of go through it in a kind of shit, let's get through this day, shit, let's get through this day. And again, maybe the same in telly, but at least you have the buffer of, or maybe not buffer, it's too wide, right? I don't know. What's the difference?
Have you heard that expression? Oh, it's in the director's can. And that's the shot that you thought you got, but you didn't. And that's where it will live forever. And I was shooting some stuff at the cave. And on the recce, I'd taken my stills and I'd put a 28mm on or something like that, and got this fantastic shot. And it was huge cave opening, lots of headspace. And when I came to shoot it, I shot it tighter, but I was saying to the assistant editor, say, no, you need to go back through the rushes because there's this wider shot. And of course it was the stills I'd done, not the actual movie shot.
That's amazing.
That was really annoying.
Yeah, that is really annoying. I remember it happened to me the other way around. I remember on an edit once, I thought the editor was going, you haven't got the footage. Why didn't you get the footage? And I went, no, I have. I know I did get it. I thought I was going insane. You know, when you think you've got it, and then I started to question myself. And it was apparently found it eventually on another drive tucked away on a different thing. But you know, when you keep saying, no, I've got it, please search. I know I've got it. So
I prefer your version.
Yeah, me too. Because there's nothing worse than when you think you've got it and then you actually didn't. Oh, it's devastating. I'd like to jump back a little bit before we come back to The Man Who Fell to Earth. Your start, because I find this kind of interesting. You were editing quite a while.
Yeah, I was always aware that editing is the closest thing to directing. And when you make your own stuff, as everyone generally who wants to be a filmmaker, it's the only way to learn is go and make your own stuff. So you're doing everything, aren't you? But the reason I went into the cutting rooms was because I always wanted to direct, but it was the option that was open to me because I did this amazing training scheme. It was a complete fluke.
Right.
It was called the Joint Board for Film Industry Training, and it was such a blessing to get it. And anyway, you would train in all sorts of areas: camera, sound, art department, and then it was 2 years. Second year, you specialize. So I went into the cutting rooms. And you go to film school as well. It was an absolutely amazing scheme. And occasionally I meet a veteran, job fit, someone from a job fit. It's really great meeting them. And it just shows how important the training is, because I had no family connections or anything. And it was a really useful route in.
Have you shot on film? Because I've not, and I'd love to.
Not for ages. I mean, early days, short films, and I certainly sunk up enough rushes on film.
Frightening on film, though. Frightening. But yes, you sunk up rushes, and you sunk up rushes on some amazing films like King Ralph, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Oh my gosh. City of Joy, list goes on.
Well, it was amazing. It's a brilliant experience. I mean, on Robin Hood, here's an anecdote for you. The director of that, Kevin Reynolds, I thought he was an amazing director. He's an amazing director. And I can remember I had an opportunity to ask him, some of this green kid working, as second assistant. And he's this big Hollywood director. And I get to ask him that question. I said, so what is directing like? And he said, I don't know. No, he didn't. He told me. He told me this anecdote. So he said, "Okay, it's the last scene of the movie, and it's on a hill with a tree, sunset. There's flowers. There's him, and there's her. There's the line, and that's it. Curtain down. End of movie." I'm like, God, that sounds great. Yeah, I love it. And then he says, "So you turn up on the day of the filming. They've chopped the tree down. the hill's plowed. It's raining. They don't get on. These two actors don't get on. One's got a cold, and the other one's ill." Mm-hmm. And you're thinking, wow, well, this isn't sounding so exciting anymore. And he said, the thing is, you still got to do it. Mm-hmm. And I can remember driving into the work at Shepperton the day they were filming this scene with Sean Connery in the woods at the end of Robin Hood. And honestly, it was like, to use it again, it was Mordor over there where they were filming. It was just slate black cloud. And the next day, the Russians, I thought, they're not going to film that today. And they've only got him for a day. What are they going to do? But the Russians came in the next day. It looked great.
Isn't it amazing what you can get away with? Isn't it amazing? It kind of happened to us exactly that on 3 Day Millionaire. When we did the pickups recently, we had to do this. We had to reshoot this thing outside a house, and we shot it. And then the footage got lost. I won't go into that, but that killed us for a moment. So therefore, I knew I had to keep my actors to reshoot it the next day. So I literally sent my location manager back to that place where I'd already gone round and knocked that morning anyway, because the first place we wanted had a skip in front of it. There was a big building site. So I ran down the road and knocked on a load of doors and said, "Hey, would this do?" Showed the director a photo and said, "Hey, yes, all right, let's shoot this." Then we shot it, lost the footage. So I sent my location manager back to knock on the door. She called me. She went, "There's a tree cutting service cutting down their tree right outside, and they're doing it all day. So now we can't even do the pickup of the pickup we wanted to do outside the house." So I had to totally find a new house. And these things happen all the time on film sets, even on the big ones. The sun's not right, your expectations are up here, and they just come down and down and down and down until you go, "I'll have to accept that."
God, I feel like I could come in there and give you a big hug and say it's all going to be fine. But,
and it is.
You managed.
Yeah, we managed.
Well
we managed. Done. Thank you. We got it. Yeah,
that's quite a feeling, isn't it? When you've overcome adversity and you have got it in the can.
It does feel great. It really is incredible, and I think filmmakers need to remember that in those moments, because we all go through it. But when we're in the moment, it feels like the worst thing in the world. Like 70 people have died and everything's crashing down on us, and we can't cope. But actually, they're the moments where you need to be strong and stand up and go, "Actually, it's all right. How can I make this work?" Talk to my DP, talk to my crew. How can we do this now? What we've got here was a huge mansion. Now we've got a little room. What do we do? And magic will come out of it. You'll make something happen because you were there. So, and that's what you've got to believe in yourself in those moments, right? How many other times has that happened to you where you've set out something or the shot you really want and it actually just couldn't happen?
We were doing a shoot in the desert in Morocco, and it was a chase, and it was this VW estate being chased by these Hummers
in the desert. I love it.
Yeah, that was so exciting.
Yeah,
just sounds it.
What a playground! But we only had the one car. With the Hummers, we kind of had a few of them, but we only had one car, and it was like I just had a worry, obviously, but not in your stomach the whole time. Mm-hmm. What if the car breaks down? How are we going to film it? How do we do this chase with a car that won't move? Mm-hmm. And it worked mostly. The car was fine. It worked great. And the action was great. Oh, now the car's not working. Shit. But we haven't done the sequence where it kind of leaves the desert, gets up onto the road. Mm-hmm. So I thought, right, well, I was kind of, because I had worried so much about it happening, I think I sort of mentally prepared myself for an alternative, which was to scream and run around. But I didn't do that.
That's what you wanted to do. I love it.
Yeah, I really wanted to do that. Yeah. I get really angry and lose your temper because
that's going to help, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't it be great if that did help? but it doesn't. You learn it doesn't. Unfortunately,
you actually learn very quickly it doesn't. And in fact, people just lose respect for you. It doesn't work at all.
I think maybe I was a slow learner, but and apologies to all those people who might be listening. I've lost my temper with in the past. I'm really, really sorry. It's not me.
It's good to say that now.
It's the monster.
Yes, it's the monster in me. The person who wants to get it perfect and right, and the vision you had in your head. Now I totally get it. And it's like now, I imagine are you much calmer on set than you were? Do you think?
Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to finish this anecdote. Basically, I got the Hummer.
Okay.
And we got a tow rope, and we pulled the VW up, and the only thing is I had to lock the camera off so I could take out the Hummer later. So we managed to do it. And it's quite useful, that technique. If you ever do something like that, you just shoot a bit wider. So in post, you can do the split screen, take out what you don't need, then push in and shake it around a bit. Yeah, it was fun.
It is fun. Yes. On that, are you calmer now?
I'm a calmer. I try to be. I try to be.
Try being operative term.
That's amazing.
I'd like to think I succeed most of the times. I nearly said sometimes. Look, I think I try to have relaxed concentration on the set, but sometimes that means that you might lark around a bit, and sometimes you'll play a bit of music, or maybe it's you get a bit, things get a bit more tense, and you just. But I do. I mean, when I have lost my temper or I've shouted, it's just that moment you do it, you just spend the next hour, 2 hours through just the next day, just regretting it, don't you? And you feel like the worst person in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. How did your start happen? How did you force your way in? Because that's always difficult.
There was a lot of frustration.
A lot of shouting.
And a lot of, a lot of talking to people and them saying, come on, you can do it. And so I had a very good support network, and still do have. I'm very lucky like that, because it is a crazy business to go into, because it's just so unpredictable, isn't it? But hey, if you love it and you've got a passion for it. So the way I got in, I did. So, I mean, in those days, if you wanted to be an editor, you had to literally, because I was a second assistant, I never really made it up to edit, because you'd have to wait literally years. And I was just too impatient. So I worked in the cutting rooms, and just kept making short films. I kept making short films, and then I did then I got into corporate. I came out of the cutting rooms, got into corporate world, did some fascinating people I met doing corporate filmmaking, went to some incredible places, but then finally I thought, right, one more short. And because people had said, hey, I like your shorts, but there's not any dialogue. There's not much dialogue, is there? And of course, television was then even more about dialogue. So I made one last short, and I got an agent.
Right.
And that was the gatekeeper who let me into the business.
Amazing. And then that sent you on this journey. What about pitching then for these shows? Again, we can move on a little bit now. You've done your Dream Teams, you've done your Sarah Jane Adventures, Waterloo Road. You've done these. Now we're moving on to nice new sort of BBC dramas as such, Law and Order UK and Casualty and Jekyll and Hyde. Suddenly you're moving from the kids' TV, if you like, and not kids, because Dream Team wasn't kids, but the more fun, friendly Hollyoaks side of things to much more drama. How were you pitching at that stage? Were you, if you can remember, sending in pitch documents about how you would do the episodes, how you do it? Can you talk us through that?
I think it's, like I said at the beginning, it's just about how I'm responding to that script. I suppose I'm employing, I've used a sizzle reel occasionally.
Okay.
So that's, a reel of material that you've managed to download or to hack a DVD, and you cut together, say, I do it like this. This is the kind of tone and palette that could be good. Otherwise, I think mood boards are quite useful. How are you going to visually interpret this script, and that's useful to be able to give people examples of. I think just also it's just about references, isn't it? What you've seen, what you're responding to, what this reminds you of, but how you would do it, how you think you would do it differently.
Do you think that your work sort of spoke for itself? So you could say your agent could pitch for you, if you like, and then they'd say, hey, they'd like to see you for Law and Order UK or for Mr. Selfridge. So therefore you go in the room and they go, well, we've already seen your work. Is it sometimes about the chat in the room and how you're pitching in the room?
Gosh, that's such a great question. Do you know, you never get it with interviews with exec producers, you never really get asked about that sort of stuff, about this is what your work has been, how did you do such and such on such and such. I've never been asked that question.
So you've got so much more of a volume of film that you've made, obviously, because when you're making TV episodes, you're making like up to an hour every time, and you've made so many of them. Like filmmakers or film directors might make 10 films of about 90 minutes to 2 hours long throughout.
In their lifetime, yeah.
Yeah, and you can probably go through that in a couple of years of work.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not completely different discipline, but you're focused in on one part of the discipline. You haven't originated that material, say, as a feature director. Often that's been the case. Yeah, I think it comes down to the fact that they just want to talk about this project in this space, this time. So it's really what can you bring to it?
Yeah, okay. What you and therefore you'll have thought about what you can bring to it, and you talk about that in the room.
I do remember one interview I had, and I found myself saying to the showrunner, "Look no further, I'm your man."
Fucking get in. Did it work? Did it work?
Do you know what? Yeah, it did.
Yes.
It did work. But the point is, I really did mean it. You know, as I'm sure everyone that met on that job, because it was such a great job. So it's difficult trying to look. I mean, you got to have. You probably have got an ego. You want to try and keep that ego in check, and just see if you actually do love that script. You want to bring that into the room, and I think that's how you respond to it. That's got to be the main thing. Have
you ever failed? That is in, have you ever got it and done it wrong? Talk us through what did you do wrong, do you think, looking back?
Yeah. I got a good one for you, which was I just called it wrong.
Right.
Which was, so I was having an interview with the showrunner and the producer. So I thought, this is a really decent script, but I was waiting for the showrunner to tell me how it was going to be run. But I called it wrong because they didn't want that. They wanted you to tell them how it's going to be. From your point of view, you know, this is what I would bring to it. But for some reason, I think it was just that I set it up wrong in my head.
Right. And that can happen, can't it? You go in with a certain, this is how I'm going to do it. And you go, oh gosh, could you feel it at the time? Did you sort of know or?
Yeah, I really sucks. It's like, I think, just bad interview. Should have just. Was it? What's the movie that didn't Sean Penn do a movie? He did it. He sucked in the casting and persuaded them to let him come back at the end of the day and have another go. That's what I'd like to do.
That kind of feeds nicely into a sort of a small question of mine, which is on the mechanical side of that pitching. Are you pitching for those episodes specifically? Are you pitching for a chance to direct these episodes in any episodes in a season? Sort of how does the process work in TV, given that you're only going to be handling a limited number of episodes?
Sometimes you can know ahead of time, this is the block they're interested in you talking to you about, or it could be a general meeting where you're just talking about the project. Maybe you've seen the first episode and they're looking for a number of directors, you know, because if it's 10 episodes, so Man Who Fell to Earth, there were 4 directors. Alex did the first 4, incredible job. And then we're just all trying to, emulate his amazing start.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can know, and sometimes no, it's more open.
Right. I'm bringing it back to The Man Who Fell to Earth perfectly there for us. How was your pitch meeting for that? Obviously it went well. Did you feel it went well when you went in the room and, like you say, you knew what episodes you were doing, and Alex is already directing some and he's the showrunner as well, or creator? So
he was, we met on a Zoom and he made it so easy.
Right.
He was, because he's such a kind and polite person. He's very, all across it, there and back. He's incredible.
This is Alex Kurtzman, by the way. We did mention it at the start, but just to mention it again.
Yes. So we talked about process a lot. We talked about process and how it worked on the set, how it works with the actors, and also about the script. But it was like this. It's really lovely talking to other people who actually are, get out there and make stuff. And it's lovely to talk to, all sorts of people, of course, but you feel like there's another veteran, someone that's actually, this could be someone that's just made a 30-second, film on their iPhone. It's still that, you've done it, haven't you?
You've been through the trenches of this and you've come out the other side. Yeah.
And it's quite rare for people to to share their process openly, I think, to be absolutely honest about it. And when I heard that it's going to be Jenny Lumet, I haven't actually had that conversation with her yet, but her father's book, Making Movies.
Oh, that's her father. Oh my gosh, it's such an amazing book, Sidney Lumet's book.
Yeah, she's royalty.
She's royalty. Oh my gosh, she did Rachel's Getting Married, The Mummy, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So she's been around a long time. I didn't make that connection.
I don't know if you read it, but her dad's book, Making Movies, it just takes you from the beginning, doesn't it? He just says, like, here's my process, and he shares it with everyone.
Yeah, it's very honest. It's a great book.
I thought Alex was like that, so I really enjoyed the meeting, and lucky enough to be invited aboard after that.
Let's talk about working with the actors then, because Chiwetel Ejiofor and Naomi Harris, superstars in their own right, Bill Nighy as well, obviously. Sure. And you're coming into that. Did you film in the UK or some of it, or was it mainly shot?
Mostly here.
Right.
It was Los Alamos was the substitution for that was Spain.
Right.
So Alex, an amazing job they did out in Los Alamos, out in Spain to be America, but everything else was shot here. And James Merrifield, the production designer, was an incredible job of he built the cafe, the American cafe, road stop, everything. It was just
all built.
Brilliant job in the UK.
That was a soundstage, or did you build that outside? That
was in Alex's block, and they shot that. I believe they shot that at Farnborough Airport.
Wow. I love the movie magic, right? You're right there. And then working with the actors, say, how did you jump into that? That'd be really interesting. Do you, you talked to them way beforehand, I imagine, when they're already starting early episodes. Talk us through that process here.
Again, they are the guardians of their characters, and this was like a tour de force of that. So Naomi's preparation, Chiwetel's preparation was extraordinary. I would literally just come in and try not to get in the way. Just see those guys go, and you're just creating the tone and the atmosphere on set, hopefully, and with the schedule and all the rest of it, the amount of material you've got to get through. And then narratively, I think it's small adjustments with the absolute top drawer. And we had all sorts, Jimmy Simpson, and we had Kate Mulgrew, Sonia Cassidy,
Clark Peters.
All sorts. It was incredible.
I love that when you come in and just do those minutiae details with the actors and just tweak, because it must be quite, what's the word? Frightening is probably the wrong word, but apprehensive to go and talk to them. They know their characters. They're amazing actors in their own right. And you're coming up going, hey, do you like this? And that can be really you have to know what you're talking about when you say anything to them. You have to literally because they'll go, what are you talking about? Oh, shit. It's frightening.
Yeah. I mean, that bad note that you gave that day, you're just going to crucify yourself for that. And it happens by accident. We're caught up in the moment you're thinking about all the other stuff that's going on. So it does happen. But hopefully we're all talking at the end of the process, and you've just got captured those great performances. I'm just trying to think. Also, with The Man Who Fell to Earth, of course, you've got such interesting journeys with those characters. You've got Faraday coming to the planet, and he can't even speak their language to begin with. So he's going to, on the arc of learning what it is to be human, which I just think is so interesting, that reflective surface. And then also with what Naomi's going to go through with the tragedy of what's happened in her past to meeting this guy and their joint mission, where are they going? And then her father, played by legendary Clark Peters, has got an extraordinary transformation. It's kind of there and back again for him. So if you're just literally trying to remind them about, look, this is where we are on that journey for that scene, and then onwards.
Just talk us through a quick scene moment. Let's say you're doing a short scene where it's Naomi and Chiwetel in a room, whatever. Just talk us through when you're going, cool, you're ready. Just that moment of, you're going to set first, you look at the lights, just talk us through you on that when you bring the actors. It'd be really interesting, I think, for everyone to know.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their own process, their own way into attack it. So mine is, I just visualize this. Well, I have to know the space backwards. So that's once you've got all that down. So, okay, so see, it could be a kitchen. So the first thing I do is I look at the script and visualize how I think the blocking is going to work. And I think if you pin down the blocking on paper, well, in your head, and then I put it on paper because I need to. From the blocking, I work out the cameras, the camera positions, because I also know how much time I've got. So I do the blocking and then the camera positions, and then I know, okay, I think that's achievable. And then we'll work out any special requirements of those cameras, if it's a steady cam or a wire rig or whatever. And all the effects, by the way, we all know they don't begin on the set.
Nope. They take so long as well. So long.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I do. I go through it. So now that's all pinned down. When I get to the set, I'm sure you know this, you can throw it away. But if I need to do that process first to be able to throw that away. So I've got my plan and I know the day will work if I can do this. But when the actors come in and they bring their magic to it and say, well, I don't understand, I feel I should go over there. You can roll with it. Generally, that literally is the nuts and bolts. And I do that with every scene.
Amazing. Thank you for explaining that. I love that.
It sounds like quite a dry technical process, but you've got to start somewhere. And I think I need to visualize it. I need to, all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to echo what is going on the inside with what's going on the outside. So what is that character going through and how are we going to portray that and depict it visually? And then there's all the other things that feed off that. So lighting and the tone, the tempo, the performance, the palette, and so on and so on and so on.
I love it. Yeah, I'm very similar to you. Very similar. I love to do that. I love to sit in the space as well. If I can, the locations, I suddenly feel it when I'm in there. I go, okay, this feels nicer here. And I could stand and walk across it. Oh, this could be a nice tracking shot. I love to be in the space, but I'm very similar to you in the script stage, same process. And I think it's just nice to know, we're all on that same path.
How does it work for you? Because if you're in the space and you've got your scene down, do you after you've seen the space, do you quite often change the writing to fit the space? Or
yes, especially on indie film, absolutely, because now it doesn't work what you had in mind. You go to the window and look out and you go, well, there might not be a fucking window, you know what I mean? So you're like, okay, how do we make this work? And so yes, I do the same as you. I go through it with an inch of its life, and then when I get to set, I throw it away. But as long as I've got that in the back of my mind, I know that that's my safety net. I know I can use that if I need to. But I like to play on the day. I like to see what will work, but know my plan. Like I say, if you need a steady cam, you can't then go, oh, I'm not going to use it because that's a lot of money. So you've still got to think about what you're doing. I'm
working with, I'm just in the very early stages of developing we wanted to be a drama series about drug trafficking. And I was talking to someone that had been involved in that. And it was kind of interested to see, how do you become successful in that particular business? And he said, improvisation is key. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting, because it is similar, isn't it? You've got to be directing, you've got to be ready to improvise with the solution if things go awry.
Yes, and they will.
Your car breaks down in the desert, or or you don't have your window.
Exactly.
I suppose all of the film is an act of kind of concerted improvisation, really. Everybody's got the framework, but we all know that when the boots hit the ground, when the cameras start rolling, it's all about what's going to come out best, no matter how well we've prepared for everything.
It's almost like it doesn't... you'll have had this so many times, Joss. Things go wrong on the set and things happen and they can upset you and it's not what you wanted. But when you get into the edit room or when it's on a cinema or on TV, you kind of forget all those things. It's now what's important is the end product. It doesn't matter who fell out with who, whatever, or you didn't get food that morning or whatever. I don't know what it is. It's irrelevant once you've got in the edit and you're making your film, because suddenly then you've got something amazing. You've got something that it's really hard to make, really hard to do. And the sense of achievement is ridiculous because you are overcoming so many obstacles.
Yeah, I think you're right. I haven't done it myself, but I gather that, childbirth can be quite a trauma for the person going through it. And I think it's kind of, you also hear, oh yeah, you forget about the pain. I sort of, maybe I generally do about the logistical things. Oh, that's what I forget about, but I'm still bugged by that person who I did at the end of it. She thought, yeah, that guy doesn't know what he's doing, or, he's a bad man and a bad director. That still sort of chews me up a bit. I try not to let it, but I think, yeah, unfortunately, you're not all going to be friends.
And that's a really good thing to know, and that's okay, because I think we go into this business sometimes wanting to be really liked, and of course we do, everyone does in this world, but it's okay that some people won't like you as much as you want them to.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to remember.
Yeah, when you get your head around it.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not a democracy either, is it? You've got to, if it was a democracy, you will not complete your call sheet. You've got to get through it, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. And that's what's important. Obviously, you don't want to trample anyone. You don't want to hurt anyone on the way. Absolutely not. No. So therefore, sometimes, like you say, if you are getting angry or there is an issue, it's because you're trying to make the best film possible, the best TV show possible. It's not because of anything vendetta against anyone. And I think that's, you have to hold it in mind. And like you say, if people think this about you, they probably don't in the slightest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I read something the other day that if you're worried about what people think of you, you are now a prisoner.
Yes.
But at the same time,
we're in our own jail.
Yeah, you want to be sensitive to everyone's needs on the set and everything, but you just definitely want to get, like, absolutely, I agree with you. Everyone's trying to make the best film possible. And the ones that, there is an occasion where you sense someone's not, that's something you're going to have to deal with too.
Yes. Yeah. And that then conversations happen about it, and often they don't stay on set much longer, and it can, and that's hard because you've got to go through that process, especially if they're close with you on set, but not everyone does fit.
Yeah, on the other, where we're at the moment, production's going gangbusters, isn't it? There's never been so much production, and crew leave. When I was first starting out, that was I never saw that ever. But if people aren't being treated that well on set, or if they're not happy for whatever reason, they'll go to another show now. And that's I sort of think that's sort of fair enough, really. So it makes us all try and look after each other a bit better.
Totally agree. Yeah. Rather than, oh, well, I'm stuck here now. Oh, we've got to deal with these people. It's okay to leave, or it's okay to move. It's okay, and therefore you can look after the ones, everyone on set. And I think that's, you do your best. It's
not ideal for us though, is it? I mean, because you want your team with you. You've all got you develop your shorthand, so you can really be free to play. Yes. So it's when someone new has come into the playroom, you've got to look after them. There's a bit of energy you have to make in that direction. Yes. Hopefully that's worth it. But the ideal thing is that wouldn't it be amazing? You just made your film, each film you made with your crew that you have that amazing shorthand with, like Clint Eastwood does.
Well, it does happen a lot with certainly the indie film I'm working in at the moment, moving into studio films and stuff. We're bringing the same team with us. I'm often working with the same brilliant. DP, editors, crew. We're all this little gang, and new people will come in, people will drop out, they're on other jobs, how it works. But we have this
that's amazing,
absolutely immense sort of crew around all of us all the time, and it's really incredible. We know each other, we know each other's shorthand, and like I say, if someone new comes in and they don't really fit in, they don't stay long. It's like, it's okay, we will find someone else because we are making films.
How do you manage to keep the team together if you're in post-production for quite a lot of time and they're looking for the next gig? Or
we've been very lucky in the last sort of 4 or 5 years as we've constantly made quite a lot of movies, which has been amazing. So therefore that team has grown with us. The problem is with that is now they've grown so well that now they're getting big Netflix gigs and they're getting all these gigs, and you can't necessarily afford them, and also Netflix is signing them up, so you do sort of lose your crew and you have to find new ones quite regularly, and often then you have to train them up again, and it's not as easy.
What about if you just get them in your cult? You're the head of the cult and they cannot leave ever.
We haven't yet, but I'm tempted to.
Cruelly ma.
Literally cruelly ma. But they'll want paying. You see, that's the problem. Unless we're taking them out into the fields and we can make carrots and potatoes ourselves, it might be a bit tricky.
How does that kind of crew partnership work in the TV world when you've got kind of a more limited time, Joss? Do you have kind of people that you collaborate on most of the episodes you'll do regardless of the show? Like, do you have consistent DOP? Do you work with gaffers like across all the various different shows? How does that work when you've got such kind of a limited frame?
It's a degree of luck, really, if you manage to keep your gang together. I think it's probably more possible if you have a shorter edit time to keep your DP with you. But really, and it goes back to what we were saying earlier about how busy it is here. So if the DOP is going from one to the next, then it's really difficult.
So it really is a matter of kind of like, okay, I've got these episodes. I love working with X as the DP. Let's see if he's not taken. Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much like that. Although if you just keep in contact, there's a chance you can stay in sync with each other a little bit more. But then again, working with another director of photography or another first AD, it's kind of healthy for you as well. It stretches you in different ways.
Yes, very true. Very true. What bad advice do you think you've heard on your time? Maybe you've been doing talks or whatever, and sort of bad advice, you thought, no, that wasn't true. Is there anything that you've heard along your time that our listeners could take inspiration from?
I had some advice once by a first assistant who said to me, well, this schedule's looking terrible. You know what, Joss? What the other director, he'd go right up to that production office and then he'd really kick off. And
wow.
And, you should have a think about that. So I thought, that might be a good idea. So I went upstairs and complained and was nearly fired. That's bad advice.
That is 100% bad advice. Oh my gosh.
But seriously, I'm just trying to think, what's bad advice? Bad advice. Here's a good bad advice. Never ask a question. That's bad advice. Always ask questions. Even when you know it's going to be unpopular, I think it's best that you ask. And the other one was, if something goes adrift, just own up to it straight away. If it's, everyone makes mistakes, don't they? So don't don't try and hide it. Everything's forgivable. The first day on that guy I was telling you about who did snow effects, and I was his assistant. It was just the two of us. He said to me the first day on the set, he said, right, you can do two things wrong. You can be late and get in front of the camera. And I just generally pass that along to anyone that's their first day on set. I say, no, I'll tell you what I was told.
It's great advice, That's great advice. Thank you so much for your time on this. We could talk for hours. I think this has been brilliant, really informative.
Lovely to meet you both.
Yeah,
really great to talk.
Real joy. Look, The Man Who Fell to Earth is available on Showtime now. Go watch it. Go seek it out. Go support. And obviously The Split, you can check that out. Paul Dark, if you want to see some raunchy scenes, then feel free to do so, which I'm sure you already have anyway. You can go out there and make your indie film. You can make it happen. You can go make your TV series. Believe in yourself and go pitch properly and get it done. And if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it is your duty to send the elevator back down. Huw Siddle, didn't you do well? Yeah!
Into the deep end, just about kept my head above the water.
You did brilliantly.
Yeah, I thought you were a pro.
Yeah, absolutely. Pro.
Podcasting, maybe. Let's try and get on the filmmaking side next.
It's amazing. Joss Agnew, thank you so much for your time. Honestly, you've been a star.
Oh, thank you, Giles. Yeah, it was a lovely, really great talking to you guys about this passion.
Brilliant, buddy. We'll see you all next Tuesday, everyone. Take care. Go make your films, make your TV series, make it happen. See you there. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.